Hello friends, this is Durga again from Nitiversity, a one-stop shop to learn all the technologies. So as part of this video, we'll see implementation of accumulators. So there are simple types of accumulators and also the complex custom accumulators. Simple accumulators, you just have to create the variable like this and then use that variable in the appropriate actions or transformations. Whereas if you want to have custom accumulators, you can do so by defining an object which extends accumulator param class, and in that you have to define a zero function which is to initialize the accumulator, and then add in place function where you will actually get um, the accumulators incremented based upon the custom logic you derive. Okay, typically we don't get into those unless it is inevitable, and it is not very important at this time. If it is required, you can explore at the time, and you should be able to implement that. Okay, now let us understand how we can actually use the simple accumulators. Okay, and as part of this we will also see how we can write more complex functionality as part of our anonymous functions. For this purpose, what we have to do is go to our program. We have only one program under retail, which is average revenue daily.scala. Copy this one and paste it. Okay, and name it as average revenue daily accumulators. Click on OK, and then objects has to be unique in the package, hence we have to rename the object name in this. In Scala, the name of the class and the the name of the program or class and the the name of the class or object which you use as part of the program need not be the same as the program name. So this name and this name can be different, but within the package, depending upon the scope, the object names has to be unique. Object or class names has to be unique. Again, it depends upon the scope. Okay, so we in this case, because we already have average revenue daily here, we have to rename the object name as part of our program name called average revenue daily accumulators. I named it as accumulators itself, average revenue daily accumulators. And now let us start creating some accumulators. In this case, I will create 2 accumulators just to be in line with the names which I have defined as part of the program. I am copying pasting from here, but I will explain the logic. So first I want to see how many orders we are trying to process and how many actually filtered. So this is the requirement. If you revisit the program, if you follow my videos, the program have the logic to compute average daily revenue for completed orders. So as part of that, first I have to understand the order status and filter the records which are in completed state. So here we have created 2 accumulators. One is orders completed accum, which will be orders completed count. So after applying the filter, how many have returned true, all those things will be incremented to this, and the overall number of records that are processed will be incremented using this accumulator. Now we have to update our transformation function, which is filter, to get those values, to increment those values. So the way you have to define the accumulators is by giving a name with val, and then sc, which is nothing but Spark context, have a function called accumulator. In that You have to give the initialized value and optional, this is optional counter name. Okay, and then in this we are trying to modify our anonymous function. Rec is the parameter name which will be passed to the anonymous function, and here we have to create the functionality. So far we have only the single line code in our anonymous functions. If we have to write multiple line code, open bracket here and then close this bracket here. Okay, because this circular bracket is for the filter itself. This is the scope of our anonymous function, and we can write whatever we want here. Once you done that, you can hit enter, so that it is formatted more appropriately. And now we have to add the logic to increment our accumulators. In this case, I want to increment orders filter invoked accumulator for each and every iteration. So I just have to say plus equal to 1. But this one I want to increment only if this is true. If this condition is satisfied, then only I want to increment this one. So what I have to do, I have to say if, sorry, not this one. Okay, and then if it is complete, then I want to increment this one. Okay, and in the end we have to have the logic which needs to be written. This has to be the final line in the anonymous function logic. Okay, now we are ready with our accumulators being incremented for each invocation and also for each filter record. So this is the one which I have to increment. So in this case, how many times the filter is invoked? In this case, how many orders that have satisfied with our logic. Okay, so similar to that, you can define as many accumulators as you want. In this case, here we are trying to have the logic to see how many times the map function is invoked, and here also on order items map, how many times the map function is invoked, and in this case how many times reduce by key is invoked. In each of the cases we are creating a different accumulator, and we are trying to increment those accumulators as part of our logic. Okay, so I am just modifying the code here. Like that, you can create as many accumulators as you want. Okay, now the implementation is done. We have to just compile. So far we have created 1, 2. This is the third accumulator to see how many orders are processed, or how many orders the map function is invoked, and then how many order items the map function is invoked, and how many values the reduce by key have processed. Okay, so once you save it, you can actually compile it into a jar file, or you can even run it over here. But to see the values, it is little bit tough using our Eclipse itself. But you can do that. You can just say print ln like that. You can add. I will not be adding everything here. Once it is done, you can go to run configurations. Make sure you have all the required parameters. In this case, we are trying to run it on accumulators, not the average revenue daily. So we have to create a new one. New average revenue daily accumulators. Okay, and then retail dot average revenue daily yes, I would like to save, and then I just want to copy the arguments from here. Okay, it takes 3 parameters. It will fail. I did the wrong. I double click it instead of single clicking it. So again, I have to go to run as, run configurations. Luckily, it is saved. So go to arguments. It takes 3 parameters. First one is input path, second one is the output path, and third one is the deployment master, whether it is dev or prod. Now we pasted those 3 parameters over there. Now it is actually running the program. So now it is done. You can see that there are 22,889 filtered items, and 68,883 times the filter is invoked. So that is how we can actually leverage the accumulators and get information about what is going on as part of our program, and this information comes handy to validate our data quality and also to perform the unit testing. So now I am deleting these 2 lines. Save it. Go to the appropriate working directory. This is not the right one, so let me click on this properties here and go to the appropriate directory. This is my working directory. Okay, this is my working directory, and here I have to run sbt package to create the jar file. Now the jar file is compiled. I can do scp this jar file to my remote host. In this case, it's nothing but a Hortonworks sandbox or virtual machine. I am copying it to my virtual machine. Once it is done, we will be running on our remote machine and also see how we can view the counters from the web interface also. So now it is shipped, and I am trying to log into the cluster. Okay, let me try it again. Okay, now I am in my remote machine or virtual machine, which simulates the cluster, and this is the one which is copied, and we have to run this one. So I am looking into the history to get the Spark submit command. Okay, so this is the one. In this case, instead of average revenue daily, we have to run accumulators. Rest of the stuff is same. We have the input path in HDFS, and the third parameter has to be prod, and the second parameter has to be output path. Okay, and then we can hit enter. It will run in the yarn mode, and then we will see the counters. We will review the job details using Spark job history server, and we will see the counters being displayed as part of the web interface of job history server. So now it is still initiating the job. We have to wait until it get initiated and it start running. Now it started running. You can click on the quick links and go to history server. Let it complete, then we will see. While running, we can go to actually to resource manager, web interface. Still it is running. Click on application master. Yeah, it is completed now. So it will be visible in the history server. While it is running, you can actually click on the application master and you can get the details, because it is completed. It is hung as of now. So now let us go to the history server. History server runs on 180.80. You need to know the IP address. In this case, everything is in single box. So I am actually trying to get the history server. I didn't modify my program name, my program details at the to set the app name to accumulators. Hence, you can see it is displaying as average revenue daily. So this is the one which is just completed. You can click on this application, okay, and you can see that the program has run in 2 jobs. One is 0 and one is 1. Okay, and you can click on the first one, and then you can see different tasks as part of the job 1, and as part of the job 2, try to write the output to the text file. And you can click on any of these tasks and you can see the accumulators here. Okay, so reduce by key is executed 114,766 times. 114,766 times. Order items is invoked 172,198 times. Okay, like that you can go through all the tasks and you can see the details. Orders count to 22,899, where the map function is applied, and these 2 are the counters for filter and completed. Okay, so this is how you can get the counters information at each and every step. So if you have multiple counters within multiple transformations and actions, depending upon the task or depending upon the task which is executing those transformations and actions, you will see those counters. In this case, the executor ID 1 has executed the logic on order items, both the map function as well as the reduce by key. Hence, you can see the counters as part of this task. But the other task, which is sorry, actually it is stage, not the executor ID. We have to focus on the stage. Stage 0 covered order items, stage 1 covered orders, and in this we have 3 counters, because both the filter function and as well as the map function on orders is executed by the same stage. Okay, and we can see all the counters related to orders here. So there is no one-to-one mapping. You cannot determine which stage you will see these counters. It all depends upon how it executes internally, but you will see that information. Also, you can access this information later by using some of the APIs, which I don't want to get into details as of now. And this is how the accumulators can be used. Now let us see the issues or challenges when it comes to accumulators. So unless tasks are executed, you will not see details about the counters. So for example, if you have a map function and that map function might not run in all the scenarios, so only in a particular scenario you want to run, otherwise you don't want to run. In that case, you will not see the counters related to or accumulators related to that function. And also when you try to use Spark Scala interpreter, so you can actually launch the Scala interpreter by clicking on this. And when you launch the Scala interpreter and when you start running the jobs, you cannot validate the accumulators immediately after defining the map, after defining the transformations or actions such as map or reduce. Okay, so for example, in this case, if I start running these code snippets one by one, unless the program encounters actions such as save as text file, you will not be able to access the accumulators. Accumulators will not be used until the program is executed. Because of the lazy evaluation, after each and every step, the program will not be executed. Only when the actions are seen, then only the programs will be executed. Until the program is executed, you will not be able to see the accumulators in the middle. Okay, that is only when you are trying to run using Scala interpreter. If you run as an application, obviously you will be able to access those things. Even when you actually see, in this case, I copied these println commands before the action. So the action is here, which is save as text file. But I try to print as part of the program immediately after using that accumulator as part of our program logic. But you see that it is returning 0. But if I add these same lines after the action, which is save as text file in this case, okay, now if I run, you can see at the end we are seeing the values, but in the middle it is just showing 0 0, because until the action is invoked, the program will not be executed. Only when the action is invoked, the program will be executed. Until then, if the workflow will be created to execute the program. In this case, we are trying to print as part of the middle of the execution itself, even before the execution of our transformations and actions are started. We are trying to print the results, hence we got 0 and 0 as the values. Okay, so especially it is due to the lazy evaluation of Spark. Spark always uses lazy evaluation, and the Spark jobs will be only shipped to the executed tasks when we see the actions as part of our program. That is the one first main issue. Unless tasks are executed, we will not see details about counters, especially due to the lazy evaluation. The tasks will not be executing the transformations and actions until an action is encountered. Spark guarantees accumulators to be updated first only in first execution. So, for example, if sometimes a task might fail in the middle and it has to be restarted on some other node. In that scenario, Spark does not guarantee that the accumulators will be updated on the second execution of the same task. So the side effect of that is the results can be inconsistent. That doesn't mean that the program will fail. The program will still run, but your accumulator might get the correct values or not. There is no guarantee. The issue is prevalent in both the transformations and actions. This issue of the accumulators becoming inconsistent if the tasks are restarted on other nodes due to some issue, in both the case of transformations and actions, and you will see the inconsistent results. So that being said, that's it about the accumulators for now. I hope you enjoy the content. If you like this video, or if you want to provide the feedback, or if you want to provide the rating, please do so. And when you give the rating, please give the 100% rating. If you think otherwise, please let me know the issue so that I can work around those issues as part of the future content, so that the content will be improved over time. That being said, thank you. Bye.